Welcome back, estate planners. This is part 3 of our estate planning hot docs document assembly tutorial. In part 2, we covered the document preview tab and we continued with the document assembly interview. Then we finished the interview and sent the document to Microsoft Word for editing. As we ended part 2, we talked about copying a provision from the document preview tab and pasting it into the Word document. In part 3, we'll pick up where we left off in part 2. We had just copied a $50,000 legacy from the document preview tab and pasted it into the Word document. The newly added legacy of $50,000 might go here. Then you'll have to change paragraphs C and D afterward. The point is, you can get to different forms by changing answers in the interview and then going to the document preview to copy the new provision from there and pasting to the Word document like we just did. Let's undo all that now. We're going to change that answer back to the way it originally was, and then we're going to delete the new legacy. We're back in the Word doc now. See where the family trust is there? In the preview, we noticed that there was too much space, and there it is, too much space. Let's just eliminate that. In going through this, we may see a need for some corrections. I'm not sure why that's red. I can tell you that when I was preparing this, that I did use some color coding to keep track of where I was in any particular moment in time. So here I see some of the red I used is still there. We have to fix that. Now it's not looking too bad. Obviously, you have to look at it closer, and I'm more familiar with the form so I can go through faster. Then you save the document. At the office, we have our estate planning subdirectories, but I'm doing this at home. In the subdirectories at the office that we have under estate planning, we have files for each client, and we would normally save this client's document there. But right now, I'm just going to save it to my desktop and give it a name. I made an unfortunate decision when I put the year 2014 in the name of the template. So when naming the document, just erase that 2014 and type Howard Smith Revocable Trust. Then save it to his estate planning file that would be in the estate planning subdirectory. But I'm at home, so I'm going to save it to my desktop. That's how the document is prepared. Now I'm going to close it and go back to the interview. It's going to ask me a few questions. It warns me that the answers have been changed during this session, and it gives me the name of the current answer file. I want to save, and I want to save as, because I want to save it to the estate planning subdirectory for my client. But like I said before, I'm doing this at home. I'm not at the office where I could save it to the estate planning subdirectory, but I will save the answer file as Howard Smith Answers, and I'll save it to my desktop. You fill in the title for the file, Howard Smith Answers, and you can put in a description in the description box if you want to. Do you want to save a copy of your assembled document? That refers to the document under the Document Preview tab, not the Word document. I can see where it might be a good idea if you want to compare the original document with the edited one in Word, or if you want to make sure you have a record of a problem that needs to be changed, but I'm not going to save it here. And then you close out. That was your revocable trust. If you want to do the will that goes with it, you can do that by going to the will template in the estate planning library. Then you would ask for the Howard Smith answer file, and you would have all the answers populated already. What you can do is just look for the unanswered questions by going to the end of the interview and asking for the unanswered questions there. So it will then prompt for executor selections. We will say 1, non-bank executor. It asks, will the client's spouse serve as executor? We'll say yes. It will prompt for first successor executor. We'll type in David Smith, and then second successor. That would be Ellen Smith. Will the will include any type of trust provision, including a disclaimer trust? The answer will be no, because it is a pour-over will. There will be no trust established under the will. We still have 4 unanswered questions. This one deals with whether the will should have a tax clause that anticipates that the client's spouse predeceased and maybe set up a Q-tip trust. We'll put yes here because there's always a possibility that when a spouse disclaims into a trust, a Q-tip trust may result. At least that's usually true the way we draft for married couples. We can talk more about this in the future. Let's see what other questions need an answer. Name the person who is the client's first choice for guardian of a minor child. Remember that we said there is a child under age 18, so we'll say that the guardian is Ellen Smith. There are a couple of follow-up questions after the guardian question. We'll say that David Smith is the successor guardian. There is one more unanswered question. Is a Chipman Mazzucco lawyer nominated to serve as a fiduciary? The answer is no. So now in document preview, you can see that the will goes with the revocable trust. There are several references to the revocable trust in the will. Other than that, it's really a simple pour-over will that gives everything to the revocable trust. See in Article 5th, it says, I give my residuary estate to the trustee under my revocable trust agreement, but if that disposition is ineffective, then it goes to the testator's spouse or descendants. We did answer that the generation skipping tax provisions should be included, so we have provisions in the will that are designed to be coordinated with the generation skipping tax provisions in the trust. You've prepared the will, so now you export it to Word, and then you can edit the document if you think it needs editing. Once again, be vigilant because I expect glitches, even though we've worked very hard to make sure they don't exist. If we were at the office, we would save the Word document to the client subdirectory. But I'm at home, so I'm just going to save it to the desktop. And it will be the Howard Smith will. And then I'll close out, and I'll save the answers as before, but I'm not going to save the assembled document. It works the same way for all these other forms. The irrevocable life insurance trust, I have some work to do on that in the successor trustee provisions. The power of attorney laws are in the process of changing in Connecticut, so I have some work to do there. The bulk of the work has gone into the wills and revocable trusts, so there are still refinements to be made in all these other forms, but they still can be very helpful. The most recent addition is the estate planning engagement letter, so we'll continue adding and improving, but for now, I think this can be a good tool for you to use, and I hope you like it. Well, that's the end of the tutorial for now. Thanks for listening, and let me know if you have any questions.